You're listening to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Challenge us at Wexford Insurances 0818 31 30 30.
Welcome back to the show. I'm now joined in studio by Padge McGrath and Martin French from McTracks Racing Track in New Ross. Padge, you're an accountant by profession, but McTracks has been born from a hobby of yours. Tell us more.
Well, as you say, I've been an accountant for the last 20 years, with my own practice for the last 12. I always had an interest in making plastic kits when I was a young fella. I suppose starting up when I was about 10 years of age and finishing up when I was around 18 to get to do more serious things in my life, I suppose, at that stage. But got back into it recently when I've had a little bit more time and just felt that the area generally was probably badly serviced by modelling in general, because there was a small shop in Waterford, and I just felt that the nearest shop to us after that was in Dublin for all the modelling needs, including die-cast, the planes, trains, everything you can think of. So I decided to open up a shop in about June of 2012, and from there on we've expanded the shop, and we've now moved it up to 1314 Woodbine Business Park.
And tell me where the idea came from, McTracks.
Well, I have to give responsibility for that to my wife. She thought of the name McTracks. We had thought for a long time of what were we going to call the business, and she suggested McTracks was a good name. And the fact that my own name is McGrath, even though the MC is not well pronounced, I just felt that might work, and would at least in some way describe the business as a whole.
So tell us exactly what it does.
Well, what you can do when you come to us is that you can bring along your own car, an RC car, and you can use it on tracks that we have purpose built, or you can rent a car from us, and you can use it also on the tracks. And we have two distinct tracks there at the moment. One track is more or less specifically for drift cars. The other one then can use drift cars or race cars.
Who is this particular market that you're going to serve in relation to this?
Well, at the moment we have people as young as 6 years of age who have used the track and bought their own cars and are currently using it. There's no limit really in terms of the upper age limit. We've had people in as you know, in the 60s using the track, and they've got immense pleasure from it. Like some of the 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds and that, they come in with an open mind. They're like a sponge. They absorb all the information around them, and within a very short period of time, you can see that they develop quite quickly for something that is quite difficult. I myself find it quite difficult to do.
And are the cars electric or driven by nitro?
All the cars are electric. Because of the indoor arena that we work from, we use only electric cars. Nitro cars would be too noisy and would also give off too much fumes. So from a health and safety point of view, they wouldn't be appropriate.
Podge, talk to me about the facility itself.
Well, the facility itself is a 6,500 square feet indoor shop and track. The shop occupies about 1,500 square feet, and the track itself occupies another 4,500 square feet. It consists of two tracks. One is a beginner track. The other one is an intermediate to pro drifting track. Can be used for racing as well. It's can be adapted in the future to resemble other tracks like Mondello and Silverstone and tracks like that. And that's what we aim to do in the future, is to change the layout of the track in such a way as to make it interesting and to generate the interest from the public.
Podge, you mentioned the word drifting there. Now, we're also joined in studio by a past European drifting champion, Martin French, this morning here in studio. Martin, what's your association and involvement with McTracks?
My association and involvement with McTracks is basically from an interest point of view. I think it's brilliant to see young kids take an interest in these, what we see as little RC drift cars. Because from that they can learn so much, and like Podge said, an 8-year-old, a young child, whatever age, they're like a sponge. They can just soak up the information. And for me, I can show them how to set up the car. I can show them different lines on the track. Even, we've run 2 competitions there so far that I've judged. They've gone very well. And, when you show people those different little skill sets, that stuff can transfer over to a real car in the future. And you never know who you're dealing with. They could be the next Colin McRae or the next, Martin French drifter. You just don't know. So it's lovely to be able to give that back to the people,
Tell us a little bit about your own career to date in this area.
My own career to date, drifting with me goes back years and years. I did a very small bit of rallying and got out of that into drifting very quickly. I had to give it up for one reason or the other, I suppose mainly financial, and I've got the opportunity now to go back driving for a company in the UK. And for me then, that's it. I'm happy, I'm back driving, I'm doing what I love, and it's just lovely to be able to try and help out other people that maybe might get the same opportunity in the future,
From a road safety perspective, is this useful?
Yeah, 100%. It's always something that's cropped up over the years with the RSA and stuff, is road safety, young people, cars in general. What we've found, or what Padge has found so far, is that it's very good because the guys can come in with their RC cars, or they can rent a car on the track if they like. They get to have fun with their friends. They get to take out their angst, their aggression, and they're able to drift and just have a bit of fun, whether even race, drift, whatever it is. It definitely helps. I think it's therapeutic almost.
I suppose, look, there's lots of stories out there in the media every week about young people crashing cars, dying in some cases in these cars. I suppose there's some of our listeners that would be listening to this morning and are saying, is this promoting drifting, and is it promoting the type of behaviour that's going on in these roads that's causing these accidents?
No, look, I don't think it is. It's no worse than a kid playing the Xbox. There's nothing we can do about the way people feel or the energy it creates within people, but all we can do is harness that in a good way. We can promote that towards, a good way of thinking, put that energy into their car, into their setup, into their driving, into their learning their skills and progressing with what they want to do, whether it be RC drifting or real drifting, But definitely, safety is a major concern for everyone in this day and age, and I can't stress enough like that. There's a time and a place for stuff, and whether it's on an RC track or on a real track, but that's unfortunately where it has to stay.
Padge, back to yourself. This is one of the first tracks of its kind in the country. I presume one of the big challenges facing you today is creating awareness in relation to it, and I know that's why you're here with me this morning to do this interview. But apart from that, what are you doing to create awareness within the motorsport community?
Well, apart from the fact that we're already up on Facebook and also have a website which we run through Mac Models, which is the shop part of it, we intend to create awareness through attending motorsport events. For instance, Ravens Rock is coming up quite soon, and we intend to have our presence at that event. So we intend to bring a replica of one of our tracks, which we have in the store, and bring it down, and bring down a couple of guys with us who we would regard as experts in the field of drifting, and show them what it's basically all about.
Padge, this is really something that's aimed at young men. There's no shortage of adrenaline with that particular target market, and I suppose what this facility is doing is it's providing a location and a platform for them to go down and to use their skills in relation to the motorsport that they have an interest in.
It certainly requires a hell of a lot of skill. It's something now that I've been trying for weeks on end, and I can't seem to get the hang of it at all. I've seen kids come in at around 8 years of age and put me to shame within a matter of minutes. It is great fun when you're there. It takes a lot of persistence. The concentration that you see on some of the kids' faces is just amazing. You can be asking them a question about how they're getting on, are we going home, or what are you doing next, and they just don't hear you at all, because the concentration is so high. When we have the 20-year-olds, the 25-year-olds in with their own cars, they aim to improve at what they're doing all the time. We have a young man, Jack O'Brien. Jack is unfortunately confined to a wheelchair, and he's one of the best young talents we've seen in there. He's amazing, and it's just through repeated concentration, working hard at what he does, and wanting to be as good as everybody in there, that you can see that he's going to be one of the best. And it's great to see him. And we want to encourage it among all the kids and among all the adults who have an interest in motorsport. And we think that genuinely it's a good business, and we think we can build it up over the coming months.
Great. Now, my final question to yourself, Martin. I suppose the difference between yourself and most people that would be coming into the facility itself to use the track is that you have the experience, the real life experience of driving a real track car and drifting that for many, many years, whereby most of the people coming into the track will have never experienced that. What's it like from your perspective?
Yeah, I suppose from my point of view, the crossover between a real car and an RC car is, not 100%, but I would say 75%. It's the same principle, it's the same control, whether it's opposite lock, accelerate, brake, lines, clipping points, everything like that. And, I suppose, personally, from my point of view, I love it. I think it's brilliant. I get a great buzz from it. I love helping the guys set up their cars. I love setting up my own little car, even though, I've only been at it a very short space of time. And it gets my attention. So, I don't see why it shouldn't interest everyone and anyone.
You're listening to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Think Wexford Insurances for your business insurance.